What's the deal, my people? Teflon in the building with another Game of Thrones Season 8 review. And this is my breakdown of Episode 2. And I will say I was very impressed with this episode. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why this was one of the greatest episodes of all time. Now, I love Game of Thrones. I truly love Game of Thrones. And it's episodes like this that make me just realize why I love Game of Thrones so much. Yes, I love the battles. Yes, I do. Yes, I love the nudity. I'm a man. I'm going to say it. I do. I like the nudity. I like it. I'm not afraid of it. But more than that, I love the political intrigue. I love the backstabbing. I love the dialogue when it feels like it's coming directly from the book. And I know people think that George R.R. Martin doesn't have anything to do with this season, but whatever he has given them, he has given them enough to make this episode great. And I'm going to tell you exactly why, and I'm going to explain all the things you might have missed. But before I do, if you can, please hit that thumbs up button. We're trying to get 500 likes in under 24 hours so we can trigger the YouTube algorithm. And hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you can be notified the next time I upload another Game of Thrones video. Because we're going for it all, people. That big silver button in the sky. Help a brother out. Now, what makes this episode so successful, in my opinion, is because the Game of Thrones writers took exactly what worked and did it over again. And that's why I believe that this episode, in conjunction with the next episode, will be the greatest two episodes that Game of Thrones has ever done. And that's because they copied the greatest episode ever done in Game of Thrones, the one that was written by George R.R. Martin, and that is the Battle of Blackwater. And they just expanded the Battle of Blackwater into 2 episodes. Probably what George wanted to do to beginning, but he couldn't do it because he had time constraints. Because in the Battle of Blackwater, the first half of the Battle of Blackwater was in one place, just like they did this. And it was the lead up until the battle, what people were doing until the battle. And that's what they did for a whole hour this time. And the second half of Battle of Blackwater was the actual battle. And they're going to have that full battle in the next episode. So that's why I believe that this episode was so successful. So let's start with my best moments of this episode. First up is the love connections that we've seen in this episode. Now, we've seen a bunch of love connections, but we have to start with this one first, and that is Gendry and Arya. I know a lot of people have been shipping Gendry and Arya for a long time. And everyone thinks that Gendry is going to marry Arya, and it would just be a perfect way for them to settle. And you know, we have the line from Robert Baratheon talking to Ned Stark about his son and about Ned Stark's daughter.
Well, it's not too late. I have a son, you have a daughter. We'll join our houses.
And although Robert was talking about Joffrey and Sansa, people would love to believe that it's truly Gendry and Arya. You know, that would be a very sweet thing. It would be so sweet, very soap opera-ish. You know, I could get behind it, people. I really could. That brings me to Sansa Stark and Theon. Now, they were exchanging some looks. They got a little hug there. You know what I mean? And Theon in the past has mentioned that he wishes that Ned Stark would allow him to marry Sansa. That was one of his dreams. So people saying, hey, we're going to see Sansa and Theon. We're going to see Arya and Gendry. But that's not the case. Because Arya, to me, when she ran into the Hound, she looked like she was sizing those old men up first to see what was going on. And then she went and settled on Gendry. Not settled, but she probably always wanted to be with Gendry, but allowed Gendry to take her maidenhood. And it's this fact that they had sex together that makes people think that, oh, it's going to work out and they're going to be together. Not at all, people. I really wish I could tell you that that was the case, but it's not going to be the case. Not at all. Because when you see the aftermath of them having sex and you see them laying there, that's not love right there. that was lust. That was in the moment. Because believe me, Arya giving him the shoulder like that, she ain't laying up on him. She's not hugging him in the bed. She's giving the shoulder. And I know that shoulder, goddammit, too well. And that ain't love, baby. No, it's not. That's just in the moment, and that's just lust. And we deal with the love connection between Theon Greyjoy and Sansa. I will say that has more of a chance of happening, but it will not happen. Because Theon Greyjoy has too much blood on his hands that he has to pay for. Some things you just can't come back from. No matter how good you think you're going to do or what you're going to try to redeem yourself, there's just some things you just can't come back from. And that's just the reality of Game of Thrones. You have to pay the price. Sometimes the iron price. And when we see Jon Snow going over the battle plans with all the group, and they figure out that they're going to try to draw the Night's King out, and by doing so they're going to have Bran by the Weirwood Tree, and Theon and the Ironborn step up, really just Theon steps up to be there to protect Bran. I think that's what it's setting up. It's setting up Theon to die at the hands of the Night's King or a White Walker in order to protect Bran, possibly for Bran to escape. And I think that's how it's going to end for this Greyjoy. He's just going to have to give his life for a Stark. He's never going to get the chance to marry one. And when we deal with Arya and Gendry, though this picture to me says it actually what's going to happen between them and shows that they're not going to be together, Arya herself has already told you this.
You will marry a High Lord and rule this castle. And your sons shall be knights and princes and lords.
No. That's not me.
That leads us to the next love connection, and that is Grey Worm and Missandei. And when I look at this, the only thing I can say about this is Grey Worm's gonna die. Grey Worm's gonna die. Grey Worm is gonna die. I have seen black people in horror movies, people, and I know exactly what happens to them. They go out first. So don't be surprised if Grey Worm is the first casualty of this battle. Our next love story that we seen here, love connection, is between Jaime Lannister and Brienne of Tarth. And that goes into Jaime Lannister's trial. Now, I thought that this trial would take a little bit longer. I thought they would take a lot of time with it, but they were very quick with it, and I appreciated that. But it was Brienne who stepped up to the plate with Sansa and told her that she trusts Jaime Lannister with her life, and that's basically what got Jaime Lannister off the hook. And then later on, when we seen cock-blocking Tormund and his big-ass beard try to come in between Jaime and Brienne, we seen right off the back that Jaime did the thing that Brienne has always wanted and made Brienne the first female knight of Westeros, which she truly deserves because she is just a badass warrior, and that's what it is. But this also scares me, people. I get nervous when I see people get what they want. When they have these fulfillment, these lifelong dreams, and it happens, that makes me think something bad is going to happen to either Jaime or Brienne. All these couples, it's not going to be happy. I'm surprised that Podrick didn't get knighted, that she didn't knight Podrick right after she was knighted. But I guess they didn't want to take from that moment, and that's why they did it. But that to me is one of the greatest moments in all of Game of Thrones. The last love connection that we see in this episode is Jon and Daenerys. And something crazy is going on here, people. We've seen the foreshadowing of this first when she got down with Sansa, and she was sitting there saying how much she loved Jon Snow and how she's here for the North because of the love she has for Jon Snow. And that was very important that she said that. But then when Sansa said, what about the North? She pulled her hand right off of Sansa's hand quick because she is not willing to give up the Northern Kingdom. Listen, all she truly loves, I believe, is the Iron Throne and maybe her dragons. That's what I think it is, because when we finally see Jon reveal who he is to Daenerys, we've seen exactly the look on that chick's face, and I'm telling you, something's going on. I always thought that it would be Tyrion would be the one to betray Daenerys, but now I'm starting to think Daenerys may betray Jon. She may take her dragons and go home, because she said, just like I said, the only reason she was there was for her love for Jon Snow. Now that he's not Jon Snow anymore and he's Aegon Targaryen, I could see her flipping the script, taking her dragons and going back to Dragonstone and bouncing on these people. I could see that happening all day, and that would just be up, straight up if she did something like that. But I think that the look in her eyes when he put that on her and told her exactly who she was not happy whatsoever. It was a little crazy, you know what I mean? But I want you to tell me in the comment section, do you think that Daenerys is going to betray Jon Snow? Do you think she's going to take her dragons and go home? Definitely put it in the comments and let me know. And that was my top moments of this episode. I hope you liked the way I broke it down using the love connections to break down this episode. And I'm going to try to get a theme for every episode and use that to break down the other episodes. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that bell. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.